Okay, so the end goal here is going to be a fully constructed crossbow with the crossbar and these pegs for the rubber bands assembled together. First thing we're going to do is start a new part file. New, standard part, create. Start new sketch, XY plane. And all you need to do for the crossbar is put a rectangle in there. Now the rectangle measurement, we got a dimension, is going to be 9.5. Zoom out. The height of that rectangle is going to be 1.5. And when we extrude it, we have to finish sketch. Zoom out a little bit. The extrusion is going to be 0.75. So this right here is going to be this crossbar right here that we're going to attach all the rubber bands to, and it's going to fit in that notch that we've already made for the crossbow. I would also change the color on it so it looks and it matches your crossbow. So after we've done that, we're actually going to drill 2 holes in it, just like we're going to do in the shop. So I'm going to right click on the top and start new sketch. Just like we did for the crossbow, I'm going to put 2 points, one at this end and one at this end. I'm going to need to measure those. I think it's going to be from each end. Try that again. .75. And same with this one. 0.75. Alright, and to get these dead center, we might have to do a little math. So if this whole thing is 0.75, what's going to be the measurement for half of it? So you guys hopefully done the math now, and it's going to be, what was it? 0.375. That's good. And 0.375. And that's going to make it dead center. 0.375. And we can put our circles attached to those center points now. Our circles are going to be 3/8 of an inch, or that would also be 0.375. So I could, let's see here. See if we can get the circle. I could put 0.375. I can also put 3/8, and it'll do the same thing for me. Now just finish sketch. We're going to extrude. You do have to click on both of these. For the purpose of creating an assembly file, we are not going to extrude them up. We're actually going to, I'm going to change this to, I'm going to change that to 0.5. And we're going to cut them down. So now we're going to create a small peg that's going to fit in there. Alright, save that. Make sure you save that. I already have this part saved, so I'm not going to save this one. The next thing you need to do, create a new standard part file. And this is probably the easiest thing you're going to do. We've got to make a small round peg. I'm going to use the circle tool. And I need to make this the same measurement as that hole, which was 0.375 or 3/8. and then I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to extrude it 1.5. So 0.5 of this will be in that hole, and then 1 inch will be sticking up. And then you can also color that if you want. On my finished crossbow, I colored it a little bit different. Red, so I could see the difference there. Okay, now for your assembly file, now, that's a new file type. You got to go to the I button. You're going to go new, and it's going to be standard assembly. Don't do this one, do the standard assembly. Create. Now, you're going to go to place, but if for some reason it looks like it might be, I'm trying to wait here. Sometimes one of these will be placed up there. If you see this pops up when you click place, that's not what you want. If you see this, it's not what you want. You need just place, not place from Content Center, just place. And this way we can find the base of our crossbow. I'm going to open it up. It looks really huge, but it'll scale it down. That was the unfinished base, but we can use it. Then we're going to find our crossbar that we created. Open it. We can put that in there. I right-clicked and I clicked OK on that. And then I can find the small pegs that we made and just put 2 of them in here. You don't have to make 2, you just place 2 in there. Right-clicked, OK. Alright, now if you want to rotate these around, you can right-click them, and there is a free rotate button, which you can kind of get it maybe not exactly lined up. You don't need it exactly lined up, but that might help you a little bit when you're placing things around. Okay, so to constrain, this is the hard part. You are going to use this constrain button. For the circles, for the pegs here, you can use an insert constraint right here. And it's this picture right here that shows us how it's going. There's opposing arrows. So I can see that arrow right there, how it's going to the left. And I can see this arrow right there, how it's going to up. And I'm going to actually select the bottom part of that hole. And it locks in there. You have to click apply. And you can also do that with the other one. Even though it's way over here, I can zoom in over here and do the same thing, and it'll put it right there. So I don't need to move that piece over there to constrain them. So that's pretty easy. Now there's more than one right way to constrain objects. So now, next, to get this crossbar in place, what I'm going to do, actually before I do that, I'm going to take this main body of our crossbow. It actually shows up in blue over here. I'm going to right click that and I'm going to ground it. So now this will not move, but this will. So by grounding it, there's a little pin on there now, that makes this not move, so I can attach the crossbar to the actual crossbow. So there's a few different ways to do this. I'm going to do it one way. It might not be the way you do it, but it'll work. I'm going to click the mate constraint. I'm going to select just the edge. It showed up white right there. I'm going to use the shift and scroll button to rotate around. And I'm going to click the edge right there. Apply. Now it's kind of like doing constraints like this, you're setting rules for the object. It can still move around, but it's going to stay locked into that edge right there. So the next thing I can do is constrain the front part of this notch to the back part of that crossbar. Apply. And now I've added a set of rules to that. Now it can't come out of that slot, but it can still move back and forth. Now here's again where you might need to do a little math. So if this is 9.5, this is my 2x4 right here. That was measured 1.5 wide, the real dimension there. So I need to subtract that and get how far this face is going to be from this face. So let's see if we can do that right now. So great job, guys. You guys figured it out that it is going to be 4 inches on each side. So again, we're going to use the constraint. We are actually going to change some things here. It's still going to be a mate constraint, but we want flush. See how these 2 arrows are pointing in the same direction. So I'm going to click on this side here. It's highlighted slightly blue. I'm going to need to create an offset now of 4. Depending on how you've clicked, it might be 4, it might be -4. So I'm just going to try type in 4 there. And then I can click on this side right there, which was correct. And now this is even. So now I've got my crossbow. This is locked in there. These are locked in. You can try to move them around if you want, like by clicking on them. And if they don't move, you've done it correct. So what you can do from this point now is take this into a drawing file, which I'm going to create new, a standard drawing file. Create, and we've used this to create our template before. I'm going to just delete that right there. I'm going to change the paper size to size A, which is what's in our printer, 8.5 by 11. And then I can place this crossbow in here. In your engineering classes, you may have heard of something called a multi-view drawing or an orthographic view. That's what I can place right here. It's going to be multiple views of this one object. I'm going to actually see if I can scale it a little bit different here. That might be too big. We'll see. But if I click, actually that is going to be too big. So let's try 1/4 is too big. Let's try 1. That'll make it bigger. Let's try 1/5 scale. So I'm going to place this. This is our front view, according to the program. I'm going to click right there. Oh, it says I need to save, which is fine. I can save that. Right there. I can drag it straight up here. I clicked again. I drag it back down and to the right. It's technically my side view. And then I can place this is called the isometric view, or you guys have done a rendering in downstairs the other day, so you've drawn something like this by hand. And then I've got these boxes here. That's okay because I can right click and create. And now this is an orthographic or multi-view drawing. I could even, if we had more time, make sure we put all of the dimensions in here and show all the measurements. And this is what an engineer would give with all the measurements done to someone who may be building this part, and they'd have all the information that they need to actually create this part right here. But that's an orthographic view. I can even make this in color if I want here. Let's see here. I can right click. Where's the edit view? This button right here. Click OK. Now that part's in color. So this orthographic or multi-view drawing would be the end result. I'm not going to worry because of time all the measurements, but know that if you were in not my summer school class but my regular class, we would learn how to dimension everything as well.